All right, here we go. We've got 2 different oysters from Prince Edward out of one house. This house is called?
East Cape Oyster.
Excellent. And you are?
Phill.
Phill from East Cape Oysters here. I'm Patrick, otherwise known as Shucker Paddy. We have Northern Bells and we have the Sand Dune Selects. Is it Select? Yeah.
Yep, those are Select.
And so you have 2 different sizes of these ones. And so that's actually a really good thing too. And the lovely wooden box as well. So what I will do to showcase this, what's the main difference between the Northern Bells and the Sand Dunes?
The Northern Bells are grown in cages on the surface, so they're going to get different nutrients from the different levels of the water column, whereas the Sand Dunes are grown loose on bottom.
Loose on bottom. So
Yep.
do you grow them as a seed to a certain size?
Typically we'll seed it with some like 1.5 inch oysters, but there's also a natural spat set there, so a lot of times we're just breaking up new oysters. Yeah.
And how do you get this lovely little shape if it's on the bottom?
It's just a product of the environment they're in. It's like a hard, sandy bottom. It seems to really kind of like smooth them out. You'll still get a few barnacles and that sort of thing, but yeah, nice heavy shell, smooth shell.
The consistency is really nice when you look at something like this.
Yeah.
And these are, you know, as a farmed oyster.
Yeah.
Look at the flat top is amazing. Deep cup and a nice little rounder part too, and the hinge is really, really pronounced. So that's a very good thing as well. Green versus just sort of shell, white light browns.
Yeah, like a blonde shell.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And is that the environment?
Yeah, it is. Once again, we have surface leases in both North Lake and Surrey. They do have like a similar color, but a slightly different flavor profile on those.
Okay,
yeah.
and this is south?
Those are bottom leases in Surrey as well.
Surrey.
Yeah.
And this is from?
North Lake. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so I'm just going to open them up and just check them out if you don't mind. So wonderful little things, very hard shell, should pop nicely as it does. And really large adductor muscle right off the top. You can see that size of the adductor muscle is quite delicious. And I'm going to do all 3 sort of to take a look at this. Maybe we'll put this up here for a shot first. Right. And we'll do one of these ones. Color is a little bit more or less. This is blonde as well. You see there's a slight color difference. This one's got a little bit more of the green grays into it, and this one's got a little bit more of that brown, probably because of the area that it comes from. And I'm anticipating a little bit of a flavor difference. Do you find a flavor difference?
100%, yeah. Especially the aftertaste. You're going to get a much sweeter aftertaste from the product grown on bottom, whereas these ones grown on the surface is kind of like your classic briny, salty East Coast oyster. So, yeah.
Yeah, they showcase really nicely, and this would be your small and large?
Cocktail and select, yeah, small and large, exactly, yeah.
It's a fairly large cocktail as far as cocktails go, which is nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, let's try these out. Do you mind if or do you want one too?
I'll have one too, if you don't mind.
Oh man, you get this lovely, it's a very warm brine sweetness to it. Savory. It's very savory, which is lovely for yourself.
Thank you.
And you get this sort of a green mushroom umami, which is interesting as well. So it's, I think, coming from the nutrient in the area. Nice little flavor off this one, Northern Bells. There's this lovely sweet butteriness in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That is delicious. And this pop of saline mushroom salinity is actually after versus up front.
Yeah.
Totally cool. Very, very nice. Now I'm looking forward to this one. The adductor muscle is larger, I think, on this one. Very clean. Very green. As in, it's a sweet, salty green. That one looks so great as well.
Yep.
Super. And the green has got sort of like a sea lettuce because of the green of the actual algae on the outside of it as well. And it's big and fat. You see this one with the roundness of the top
It's almost bulging at the top.
You've got
right?
this button tufting thing happening. So this like a pillow with a button in it. So button tufting happens here to the adductor muscle, and then it gets fat again on where the gills are. So I like that as a texture, and that's because it's just rolling around on the bottom. Do you think they move? Do they move much?
100% they move, yeah. And they sometimes even in the fall they'll kind of like bury down a little bit, and then in the spring they'll come back up.
Do you think you lose oysters outside your lease because of that?
There's definitely some trickle off the ends.
The
of
Atlantic
leaves.
drift, or
we
whatever
try
you
to
wanna call
clean them up and bring them back on as best we
Okay,
can.
so how do you do that? How do you go clean them
We'll
up?
use tongs or rakes on a low tide, and
You
we'll
go for a
walk
swim?
Yeah, sometimes we'll go for a swim. We'll snorkel to harvest them too.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then so you'll collect them, then move them around back in towards the lease
Yeah,
and stuff
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, the ones that have drifted just off. Yeah, yeah.
The wanderers.
The wanderers. That's it. I
Beautiful.
find it's more of a dense meat in the sand.
There's definitely, and do you think that that's because of the depth that it goes to?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's very consistent. It's always like that. Sometimes the farmed ones has a little bit more of an opaque texture to it, but they're always quite thick meats in the sand dunes. Yeah.
Blonder's sweet, and these ones are a little bit more umami green, vegetal, the sea lettuce type of flavoring. I think over oysters as well as depth goes, I think there is a pressure change that allows the oyster to get meatier in a more deep oyster.
Yeah. Also, these sand dunes are going to be older compared to these for the same size. The ones in the cages grow a little quicker, so a cocktail could be 3 years old, whereas a cocktail here could be 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
So,
It's going to take some more time type of thing.
Yeah.
Those are great. Love it. Beautiful. Northern Belle and the East Cape
Sand dunes.
Sand dunes.